Guys, well, it is 10:06 a.m., so we might as well get started here. I guess the change start time must have affected some people. I'm sure they'll all show up at 10:30. I'll be just in time. So, but I want to introduce you guys to Bruce. Bruce is going to share with you guys some information about the HECM program and using it for purchase. We took if you guys remember, about a year ago, we took a class on this. And Bruce is here to update you guys and give you a refresher of how you can use it to grow your business, help your clients find the house that they really want instead of the one that they feel like they have to get, and help boost your business and your commissions as well. So, Bruce, I'm going to let you take over, introduce yourself, and give your thing. And guys, he'll be taking questions at the end. And then once Bruce leaves us, we'll be doing our normal Wednesday open forum. So, Bruce, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ignore that phone. That's the office phone. Sorry about that. I think it'll ring 3 times. Okay, well, anyway, my name is Bruce Hancock. This won't take long. We'll take a break around 12 o'clock and 15-minute break, and we'll start again around 12:15. But just a little bit about me. I'm from New Jersey, as I have told Ryan already. Moved to Florida 12 years ago, and been in the mortgage business since 1984. So I hate to predate myself or age myself, but I am a Vietnam veteran, so you can figure that out. So I've been in business since 1984, and I did regular mortgages for many, many, many years, forward mortgages. The first reverse I did was in 2001, believe it or not, 20 years ago. So I've been in the business for a long time. I stopped doing regular mortgages around 2000 and I guess 14 or 15. So I don't compete with your regular mortgage guy. All right. So I just wanted to get that out there. You know, in a nutshell, and I try to say this without insulting anyone. I talked to many realtors over the years, and I explained this program to them, and I don't understand why they don't get it, why it's not used more frequently, I guess is the best way to say it. If I talk to 100 of them, I'd say 5 of them use the program or get the program and put it in their toolbox. But for me, it's the best way to buy a home if you qualify. It increases your business. As Ryan already said, it helps your buyers with more solutions to buy the home that they really want, not the one they thought they could afford. So it allows you, when you offer that, allows them to leverage their purchasing power and again, acquire the dream home that they really wanted. Boomers make up the fastest growing demographic in the US. And according to a survey back in 2014, I think it was, Americans age 55 and over represented 80 million people, and it's growing. And they surveyed them, and it said about 55 million of those 80 million are not living in the home that they really want to live in. And it's because they don't have enough cash to afford the home they really want, or you know, they're not W-2 employees anymore, so they're not able to qualify for a regular mortgage, and the list goes on. So so this program is not for everyone, obviously, but it's for a lot of people. So all I'm saying is put it in your toolbox, keep it available to you, and ask, you know, obviously you're gonna have to ask some questions to see if they qualify. But there's only 3 ways to buy a home, basically. All cash, obviously, that's, you know, but they're limited with how much cash they have. So if they have $200,000 cash and they don't want a mortgage payment, then you have to find them a home for $200,000 or less. They can get a mortgage, but now they have to qualify with, you know, pay stubs and W-2s, tax returns, things like that. And obviously now they have mortgage payments, and a lot of seniors don't want mortgage payments, okay? Keeping in mind, you have to be 62 or older to qualify for this program. And the last one is the H for P, or the reverse purchase. And, you know, you may hear me use both terms. H for P stands for HECM For Purchase. HECM stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. So what that does is it helps them to buy a home that they really want, the one that they thought they could never afford. They have no mortgage payments ever, although if they want to make a mortgage payment, they can. And also they get to keep money in the bank if they want. So a classic example with that. Oh, and by the way, and it doubles your commissions for the most part. So instead of selling Mr. and Mrs. Jones a $200,000 home and they pay all cash, now you can sell them a $400,000 home and they still don't have a mortgage payment, and you've doubled your commission. I always use 50% as a rule. They put down 50%, we put up 50%. Now, usually we're putting up more than 50%. The older they are, the more we put into the deal. So if you had somebody and say, hey, Bruce, I got Mr. and Mrs. Jones and they're 72 years old, I just put it in my software real quick and kick it out. And I'd say, okay, they need 45%, we're putting up 55% or whatever the case may be. So it helps them to buy the home that they really want, doubles your commission, and probably get you some referrals. And when I said before that they can put some money in the bank, let's just say you have people that move down here from New Jersey, where I'm from, and they have $200,000 from the sale of their previous property. And they say to you, oh yeah, I don't want a mortgage payment. Well, if you show them this program, let's say you showed them a home for 300 instead of 200,000. Well, they need 150. We put up 150, and they're able to put $50,000 back into the bank account, and they still don't have a mortgage payment. It's a beautiful thing. It is the best program that very few people use, and I to this day I don't know why, because there's one downside, and I'll explain that to you in a second. So again, couple moves down here, they have $200,000, they don't want any mortgage payment. You sit there and you say, okay, put them in your car, show them home after home at 200,000. Boom, 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 boom. And they're going, oh gosh, this is all I can get. Oh man, this ain't much. And sneak one in there at 400,000 and don't tell them the sales price, and watch their reaction when they see that home for 400,000 after you just showed them 5 for 200,000. They're going to be pretty happy, and they're going to say, wow, I can buy this. And you're going to say, yeah, you can, and you won't have a mortgage payment. It's an FHA government guaranteed program, which I'll talk to you about in a second. So to me, it's the best program out there that nobody uses. Nobody wants mortgage payments when you're that old, seniors, retired and stuff like that, and they want to live their life, the rest of their life, let's just say, as easily as they possibly can. So how would you feel? How would they think if you're buying a $400,000 home instead of a $200,000 home? Probably pretty good. Now, how does it work? Let's use the 50-50 rule. They find a house for 400,000. They put up 200 and we put up 200. So they owe us $200,000, right? That's obvious. Now, someday they're going to sell that home and they're going to have to pay us $200,000, or they're going to pass away and their heirs are going to sell the home. They're going to pay us $200,000 plus interest, which today is right at 3%, 3.01 actually, if you were doing it today, 3.01. You have the option of an adjustable and a fixed, which I won't get into too much right now, but the adjustable is 3.01. All right, now, let's just say, for instance, you have that buyer and they have $200,000 into the deal. 10 years later, they pass away. Now, the way I try to explain this is quite simple. Okay, let's say you owe us $200,000 and your home is worth $400,000. Okay, because everybody thinks that someday they're going to owe more than the value of their home. And let's just use 4%. Their debt grows at 4% a year, and their home value grows at 4% a year. So on day one, if they get hit by lightning, the kids sell the home, they get 200 grand, right? They got to pay us back 200. Now, next year, at 4% growth, they owe us 208. But if the house went up 4%, the house is now worth 416. So they actually gained $8,000 in equity just in that 1 year alone. That spread gets bigger and bigger and bigger year after year after year. Now, can there be a down market? Yeah, but to eat up all that equity, it would have to be a repeat of 2008. And could that happen? Sure. However, the FHA has a guarantee, and I'm sure you know the term MIP, mortgage insurance. The MIP guarantees the family or the owners that they can never owe more than the value of their home. So taking that as an example, let's say someday they owe us $400,000. I know I'm going to an extreme here, but they owe us $400,000 and their home is only worth $300,000. Well, if mom and dad sell it, they take all the furniture, pots and pans out. We get $300, even though they owed us $400, and it's, no harm, no foul. If mom and dad pass away and the kids inherit the home, they have a couple options. They can go in there and take all the pots and pans out, hand us the keys, and say, "We don't want it. Mom and dad owe $400. It's only worth $300." The FHA insurance says to the kids, let's use that word, it says to the kids, "Well, look, I'll tell you what. You can buy this home for 95% of the value. You can buy it for $285, even though mom and dad owed us $400. You go get a mortgage, you go refinance, get whatever. You get a mortgage for $285, give us $285, and you have the home, and you do not owe us the difference." That's an FHA guarantee. So there's very little risk in this. And if mom and dad are saving $1,500 a month by not having a mortgage payment, that's $18,000 a year. In 10 years, they've saved $180,000 living in the home that they wanted, not the one that they thought they had to buy. So that's basically it. And qualification is simple because there's no mortgage payment. We don't need tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, any of that kind of stuff. However, we do have to make sure that they have enough money coming in that they can pay property taxes and homeowners, and if there's a HOA, stuff like that. So usually the Social Security, $1,800 a month is enough for that. Very seldom do we ever get into pay stubs, even if they are working. I tell them, don't worry about it. I don't want that stuff. And we do run credit. We don't care what their credit score is. It could be 500. We don't care. But they cannot currently be in a bankruptcy. They can't have any federal liens against them. And their property tax, we check their property taxes on their current property. We want them to be pretty close to up to date. They don't have to be on time every month, but they can't be in any kind of tax foreclosure, things like that, because that's the only thing that we have to worry about is the house being behind in taxes. And that's really it. I mean, I think that I pretty much gave you the full run. If anybody has any questions, I'll certainly share my phone number, my email address. I'm not that far from you guys. I could stop down and talk to you one-on-one, get a cup of coffee if you wanted. So, anybody have any questions? Wow, am I really that good? Or are you that not interested?
I just unmuted. So this is mostly aimed towards older people.
Somebody has to be 62. One of the buyers has to be 62.
Okay, I missed that part. Okay, I must have been out. And also, it's kind of like a reverse mortgage, correct? Instead of them getting the money per month like a reverse mortgage does, they just don't have to make any payments.
It is a reverse.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, reverse only has two categories: reverse refi, which I do, and reverse purchase, which I do. Reverse refi is giving you the equity in your home to live a little better or whatever. Both ways, there's no payments.
Right. Okay. Those are my two questions.
Okay. Thank you, Darryl. Anybody else? Is Ida on this call?
Okay. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate that, you said somebody has to be 62. So if a 62-year-old woman and her 20-year-old husband want to do this, that's fine, right?
that's fine, but they're going to qualify on her age or his age, 20 years old. So they're not going to qualify for much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
only,
I had that situation. I had a guy that was 72 and he married a girl from Colombia who was 28. And, you know, one of those country brides or whatever you call them. And they were happily married. It's not like, you know, he married for convenience. They were very happily married and they did it, but it was based on her age.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, my phone number, if anybody wants me, I'm going to give you my cell number and my office number. My cell number is a New Jersey number, 609-617-5723. And my office number is 352-633-3204. And my email address is B Hancock, HANCOCK @mutualmortgage.com. Okay.
So question, if they wanted to sell their house after you help them buy it, how would that work if they wanted to sell and buy another house?
No different than if they had a regular mortgage. They would sell the house, pay us back whatever they owed us. They would get the equity and they buy
Okay.
them. Yep. We have people that
I'm trying to
say that again, Daryl.
I'm trying to think of questions. It sounds too good to be true.
I know it is.
I think that's why a lot of people don't understand it, because it just sounds too good to be true.
Daryl, you said exactly what I said earlier. I don't get why real estate agents don't use this program more often. To me, it's a no-brainer. You know, I mean, you can take it down to somebody's only got 100,000. If they have 100,000, they're getting a mortgage payment. But now if they buy a home for 200 or 220, no mortgage payment, now they got a nice home and they're not stuck in a $100,000 home that's not to their liking, you know? So I don't see why it's not used more often. I agree 100% with what you're saying. I do, I really do. That's the way I started it out. I don't know if you were on in the beginning, but I said exactly that. It's the best program that very few use. And the few people who do use it, the few realtors who actually do use the program, it's almost like they don't tell other real estate agents about it. I don't know if they just don't want to let it out or let them know. But I'll say I have this one guy, John, who uses it all the time. I don't know if he's with your company or not. John Marino, is he with your company up in the Villages area? No, but he uses it all the time. And I said, John, do me a favor, man. You know, hook me up. He won't. They don't want to share it. I don't know why. So it is a great program. To me, it's the best way to buy a home for a senior.
Hi, Bruce.
Yes.
What is the minimum down payments? Or
Well,
just so I can make sure I understand this correctly. So we're saying if we have an eligible clients over the 62 or older, you know, they can apply for this funding and they can either put up some of their cash or a minimum, and then you guys only get paid back upon the sale of the home or passing away of the clients.
I mean, you're pretty close, but the downside of this program is you need a lot of money to buy a home. You're going to need at least 50% of the sales price. So 50%. If you were 62, the older you are, the less you need. Like a 90-year-old may only need 25%, as an example. So if you had somebody that was 75 and he marries a woman who's 68, we're going to use her age. Now,
got it.
A person at 68, I'm just going to take a stab at this. They're going to need about 47%, 46% of the value of the home. So they're going to put down the 46%. We're going to put up 54%. And they have no mortgage payment. So the downside to this program is you need money. You're not going to, there's no, 5% down or something like that. You need money.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, sure, Andre. Anybody else?
Any other questions for Bruce while we have him? I put Bruce, I put your phone number and your email in the chat.
Oh,
For anyone
great.
who may have missed it.
Thank you.
So they can access that. And I appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you for coming in.
Much. Thanks,
Guys,
thanks for having me.
I
Thanks for
want
the
to
good stuff.
I want to say one thing before he leaves. This is another arrow in your quiver, guys. This is what we try to do, is teach you just little ways to get more business. This business is it's a collection of little niches that you can find and put together so you can help every client out there. And you guys are going to get calls, if you haven't been already, from people who are limited. Maybe they're on a fixed income, or they only have so much cash to go around. And this is the kind of thing that can get you a couple more sales a year. So and more importantly, get your clients what they want and add value as a realtor, because anybody can run the MLS list and show them a house and write a contract. But when you present more value, you're going to make more money. So Bruce, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, everyone.
Look forward to seeing you again someday. And
all right, thank you.
You guys contact him if you have any kind of clients like this.
Yep,
All right.
I can be one-on-one if anybody wants me to.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Bruce.
Be blessed.
Take care, bud.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, young lady. Where you been?
Hey, hiding. Not really.
Good to see you, Ida.
My pleasure.
All right, you take care of
Bye.
yourself. God bless you all.
You too.
Bye, Bruce. All right, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Everybody's fantastic. Awesome. It's almost 10:30 when I think most of you thought this meeting started. So it is. It's good to see you. Yeah, I put it in the subject line, special time, 10 a.m. Thought that would be exciting for you guys, but it wasn't, apparently. All right. So what do you guys have for me today? That was, for those of you who just joined us, which is most of you, that was a kind of a HECM recap. We learned about a year ago. We learned about HECM. We did a CE class on it. It's a great way, read up on it, but it's a great way to get the seniors a little bit more bang for their buck. And you guys can watch the recording of this, or you can look it up for yourselves. But he did a very good and very brief presentation on it, so I appreciate him coming in. Different from last time when it was the government paying people to teach about this. This was a actual guy who makes money doing it. So it was more to the point and not a CE class. All right. So any questions for me? Any comments? Let's talk, guys. It's open forum time.
Did you put his info in the chat?
I did.
You did or you did not?
I did, with a yes. Yeah, did. It's I put his phone number and his cell phone and his email. Do you not see the chat maybe before you come? Is that what happens? That is what happens? You don't see the stuff in chat before you got here? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I will just copy and paste it. How about that? Back into the chat. There you go. Bam. All right. Yes, Abby is so proud of me right now for my technological savvy. Copy and paste I've mastered. All right, well, what else do we have, guys? We got, oh, Malvis. Hey, Malvis.
Hi. Sorry, I was late. I was at a meeting that I couldn't miss.
Sure.
I have a comment, not a question, a comment. So I posted a question on our Facebook page in regards of DPA to whether or not when representing the buyer, if we need to put anything on the terms and such. I talked to a lender about it, and a lender told me that a down payment assistance loan whether it's FHA or conventional, is no different than any regular loan whatsoever. They're just borrowing funds from, DPA. The only thing that he told me that was different is that they need a little bit more of time for closing. So in this case specifically, the lender asked for a 45-day closing. And he said, you don't need to say that it's down payment assistance because it's not really different than any FHA loan. So they just needed extra time for closing purposes. That's all.
Okay.
I learned that.
Okay, fantastic. Any other comments on that?
Hey, Melvis, did you
Yes.
have any, did you have any, the qualifying for your buyers? Have you already went through the qualifying for them? Because that was the hardest part that I found out. They say that
Yes.
they have down payment money, but the qualifications are just ridiculously to where they can't qualify.
They have been pre-qualified with Homebridge, Devin Collins. I did my home loan with him. I've been talking to him, and he's got experience with those type of specific loans, and he just needs to go FHA because of a bankruptcy that he has on his credit. He could not be conventional. It needs to be FHA.
Hey, Malvis, this is Ida. Do your buyers have the completed the classes that is required? They can do it up to before closing, but they need to take the classes that now they're giving virtual.
I am not aware of that.
Yeah, when they're using this down payment assistance program, in addition to being qualified, like, based on their income, find out with them if they have taken the classes. If you want to, the person that you're using should have mentioned that to your clients about who's giving the classes. Sometimes they themselves give the classes, which is maybe like two weekends or something like that, and they get a certificate. So before the closing, something that they must have.
Yes, I know. Thank
No.
you. I know
All right.
now what you're talking about. Yes, thank you.
All right, very good.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
I have a question, Ryan. I have listed a property in Margaritaville, and it was done about 6 months back, and then the owner told me he did not want to sell it. He's come back now, higher price. I put it back in the market, and there is activity there, but I'm not getting any calls on it. Are some of these brokers just trying to contact the owner because it was pulled out and now they know the owner's name? Because he told me he got 3 calls from brokers and they've contacted him directly. And I said, but it's in the MLS. Is there somebody who blocks? I mean, last time I did it, I was getting calls like crazy. And this time I've not received 1 call. So I feel there's something not right.
Yeah, he needs to let you know who's doing that and you need to report them. But they probably, if it was, how long ago did you withdraw the listing?
I think it was, I don't know the exact time, about 6 to 8 months back, and he's come back.
That's too long then. There are people out there contacting people. We've had some incidences of that. And
he's telling me now that he's telling them to contact me directly, but I have not received 1 call. And he says,
yeah, they're trying to get the listing. They're not trying to buy it, probably. They're telling him they have buyers because that's what people do. They lie. So they're probably trying to get the listing. So if you're not getting calls, like legitimate calls from people wanting to see it, then that's typically overpriced. If people are looking at your property and not making offers, then it's not showing well. So those are your two hints on what's going on when you can't
So
sell
where am I
something.
lacking on not showing well?
Pardon
I
me?
have the video, I have everything done.
Okay. So yeah, your problem is that they're not calling, then it's not that it's not showing well, they're not looking at it. So that's the problem, is you've got it overpriced right now. Which I think you
Okay,
already
because-
know, which you already told me. So you already know it.
No, it's not overpriced. It's priced at what it's going right now. That's the square footage that's in the area. But it's funny that I'm not getting one call on it and he's getting the calls.
Okay, well. I
So
don't think
is there
that's-
something I need to check out on MLS? Is something getting blocked? I'm just asking a question because this is very weird.
I've never heard of anything getting blocked or not being available on MLS. They should be calling
Okay.
you.
Okay,
And in this market, if it's priced right, there's no reason it shouldn't be. You should be getting a bunch of calls.
okay, all right. Thank you.
You bet. Put the, Sunina, put the address in the chat. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it on MLS and see if it
Thank-
says, please call the owner instead of Sunina.
No,
Maybe
it doesn't
says
say that. I put that
Oh,
in the,
I figured that. I'm kidding.
yeah.
Just,
It
but
said,
I'll put the address in the chat. 1 second.
Okay. Well, a couple of us will look at it for you.
Are there
Okay.
vacationers in there? I mean, is there a vacation schedule
Yeah,
at
it's
all?
getting rented by Margaritaville. Margaritaville doesn't give their property management to anybody else. It's company, but that can be given like 15-day notice, because last time when I had put it and it was priced at the regular market price, I mean, I had phones coming from all over and then he just backed off. And let me put the address, hold on. And now it's like not even one call. And the other day I called him and I'm like, I'm not getting any calls on this. Maybe we need to lower the price. He says, well, the owners also go and look at the realtor.coms and Zillow. And he says, no, it's priced right. And which I looked at, it is priced right. It's higher than what it was 8-9 months back. But he says, I'm getting calls. And I'm like, how are you getting calls? You know? So he goes to me, well, I got 3-4 calls and I told them to look at the MLS and call you. So he says, has anybody called you? I said, none of them. So very strange. I mean, as much as residential I do, it's just I wanted to ask Ryan. I'm going to put the address. Oh, where is it? Chat. So yeah, go ahead. Anybody else wants to ask any questions?
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Hey, I wanted to give props again to Abby. I think we're on our 5th ad now. And I'm on my 3rd home now from the ad. So
Awesome.
it works. She's done a great job. Very good job. I send her over the updates because I have to update it every month. I send her over the updates and she updates it within two days. It's due on the 15th. I send her over everything by like the 13th. She's great. Absolutely great.
Thank you, Daryl.
Sure.
Guys, Abby is another resource we have for you guys. If you guys need anything like that, Abby is a resource that we have for you guys. She is there to help you. So if you guys need anything with your marketing, any kinds of ideas or help implementing something, or if you need something above and beyond what we do, she's a free resource on the clock. But if you need something above and beyond that, she'll sell her services as well on her own time if you guys need something above and beyond. So we appreciate Abby and all the hard work that she does, and she's there for you guys.
Ryan, one question. I'm reading the chat. I've been seeing more and more listings from Opendoor and Zillow. Why are they gaining ground? What was an answer to that?
I didn't see that in the chat.
It's
Oh, there
in the
it
chat.
is.
I just
There
saw
is
it.
in there. Why are they gaining ground? More and more listings from, because they're buying everything.
Oh, okay. And then selling it. Okay.
That's how they do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You could gain ground on the market too. So now you just have to buy everything.
Yeah, I'm just going to hit the, power balls. So I will be doing it.
Guys, they are, I in some ways despise all those people, but they are paying through the nose for properties right now. A lot of them are. and it really, it's tough for us to compete with, and I don't know how or why exactly they're doing it. They must have some kind of money they need to launder, or something, because they are buying stuff above market, and when it's already market's already high. So
It kind of makes you want to go out and buy flips and sell them the flips.
yeah.
They
Until
can
the-
pay $30,000 more than I just paid on the house that I bought 2 weeks ago. I'm fine with it.
Right, exactly. Of course, yeah. You'll feed the monster if it, everybody will sell out to the man if it benefits them. Oh, they're terrible, but if they'll pay me an extra 30 grand, right? So my principles can be bought, but that's what they're doing, and you just don't want to be holding that flip house when the music stops, Daryl. So that's the concern there. All right, I'm going to check out this Knee Deep Road for Sunina. If anybody else wants to check it out and give her any comments, that would be great.
Regarding Zillow, Ryan, I'm curious too, because I just, on the listing that I sold this, sorry, rewind. On the listing that I just sold for $297, the next door neighbor sold to Zillow for $270. I know this because my seller knows the neighbor, and he told me that the neighbor told him how much he sold to Zillow for. Zillow bought it for $270, put it back on the market $340, reduced the price to $299, and it sold last week for $294,400. So I don't understand what the logic is, and I'm just curious. Zillow pay 5% in commission. That's $14,000 in commission to both realtors for a house that they sold for $294 when they bought it for $270. I mean, they only got what, $10,000 in profit?
I wonder if that 270, are they also charging the $20,000 fee that they charge the sellers? Are you guys familiar with that? With at least with Open Door and stuff, they charge you, they'll pay you X amount, and then they charge you X amount, and they say, well, that's what you would have paid in realtor commissions and repairs and stuff anyway. Now we just it's just a convenience. It's just for the convenience that you sell to an Open Door. Are you guys familiar with that? I'm not sure if Zillow does that or not.
I don't either. I do know about Open Door because of an offer that came to a seller of mine a year and a half ago. And yes, there was a $25,000 or $28,000 in fee from that offer.
Oh, so Nina, I've got your problem. You're offering 2% commission.
I do too.
You're offering 2% commission. As part of-
Exactly.
See you later, dude. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
2%. And I know
That's
it's not. I know that's not you, Sunina, but that's.
No,
what
I'm
you're
getting
talking about.
total 4, so I'm splitting my part of it.
No, I understand that. The problem is you're getting a total of 4. But
Yeah.
the next one up is what, $100,000 more, but I'm getting 3%. If I can talk my client into 850 instead of 750, which I can, if I'm dealing with those kind of numbers, that's not that big of a deal. And they get an extra bedroom. I can sell them on that all day. And then the last one, if I can talk them into 895, I'm also getting 3%. There's your problem. There's your seller's problem.
Did you suggest that 4%, or was your seller just cheap?
No, the seller just wants to take that route. He wants to do it that way. He says you only get.
He's going to sit on it until these other 2 are gone, at least.
Unless you take 1.5 and give the other side 2.5 to make it work.
Even still, we're talking about 0.5%
actually,
on 800,000.
There are two realtors over there. One, she's a CPA, and they pretty much capture Margaritaville. So I'm sure they'll sell that one. But it's open, so I'll suggest that to him. I just was wondering, what is my problem? What have I done wrong?
So Nina, get him to go up 1% and give 3%.
Okay, will do. I'll talk to him. Thank you for your help.
Otherwise, yeah, but it took me 2 seconds to figure that out. That's not, especially compared to these other ones. These are on here for 850 and 900,000, and they're offering 3%. So
Okay.
That's pretty good.
I'll talk to him. Thank you.
Well, I feel like if nothing else I accomplished today, that was something. Any other, what were we talking about? I got so
Open-
excited when I
Open
saw-
door.
Open Door. So I told you guys this a long time ago. When Open Door first came out, I put the house that I lived in at the time on there, and they made me an offer that was over market at the time, and with $27,000 of a fee that I would have to take off of my over market price. And they said, well, yeah, but if you pay commission and you pay this, and they do that little, you guys probably seen the little table where they compare themselves to the other, if you sold it. And even though they fudged the numbers a little bit, this is what the average person would be paying in repairs. Well, my house didn't need all those repairs that a normal person might have, $7,000 in repairs or anything. So anyway, it ended up working out where, oh, it's better to use them, and it's convenient, and I can sell it in 3 weeks, all this stuff that at that time it wasn't a seller's market, so it was a pretty even market. But anyway, that's what they're using to get these people to sell. But as you can see, with the example that Malvis gave us, the people who left money on the table by selling to them. They just turned around and sold it. A lot of times, depending on the house, Open Door would just come in and they wouldn't do anything. Other times they would replace carpet or something like that. But on my old house, I didn't have any carpet in there. They wouldn't replace anything. They don't do anything. So people, that's a good example, Malvis, of people leaving money on the table. It's also a good example of how willy-nilly, how much money Zillow has that they need to spend. Because you're right, that kind of thing, like Daryl, who does flips, and some of you other guys who do flips, if I told you could buy this house for $270 and sell it for $294, you'd say, well, that's stupid, right? I'm not going to make any money if I'm paying commissions both ways, coming and going and everything else. But I do think that a lot of these times, the Open Doors of the world, they make their money on that 27 grand. I think they would buy my house and raise the price 10 grand and sell it again, and pay commission and break even on that, but they made the 27 grand when they bought it from me, right? So just something to think about on that. I'm not sure exactly what their model is. I think they have a certain amount of money they need to get on the street, kind of like a lender. They want to get all that money out there and churning it and making money, even if it's 5 grand at a time, because they're going to do the volume that they're going to do. So maybe they only made 5 grand on that deal, but they're going to do like Sinina was saying, they're going to get the market share.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing, Ryan, and I actually got worried about it because when Zillow purchased the home from this guy and put it back on the market, they put the home $43,000 more than my listing, and my sellers were asking me, and I was like, I don't know where that price came from, because when I ran the comparables, there's no unit that have sold for that much, not even single family. And this is a townhome that we were talking about. I said to them, I think they're super overpriced, and I am not sure that home is going to sell for that price. Came home and talked to my husband, and I was worried because I was worried that I was doing a poor job, which I knew I didn't, because I did run comparables. I did look for, I asked another agent for a second opinion on the listing price, and I knew it was correct according to the market. 2 weeks later, Zillow dropped the price, $43,000. So they were not getting offers, and they dropped the price. But I was just, I'm like, how come they just paid $15,000 in commission, They bought it for $270. They only made $9,000 on that sale. I guess it's worth it. I don't know.
Malvis, this is a dream come true for you guys. All of you guys enjoy this. Zillow, who has always been very accurate in their estimations of property values, is actually putting their money where their mouth is and losing money on this, because they're saying it's worth, they probably bought it thinking they were stealing it, and it was worth $43,000 more than what it was worth. So all of you guys have always wanted Zillow to put their money where their mouth is, and now they're doing it. So
well, I texted my sellers back, Ryan, and to rob it. We sold $10,000 above list price, and we sold for $3,500 more from the Zillow home.
Right. Well, and that's, that's always been a good argument when you talk to a seller and they say, well, my neighbor says my house is worth $340. Well, have you talked to your neighbor about buying it? This is what, right? I mean, if they think it's worth that, then we'll sell it to them for $335 and they'll make $5,000 right there, you know? So, but that's great. That's always been the thing with Zillow. Zillow says it's worth this. Well, Zillow should buy it. Well, now they are. So if they really think it's worth that, that's what they should buy it for. I wonder if people do that. They check their Zestimates when Zillow makes them an offer. Say, wait a minute, your Zestimate
They
says it's
do.
worth 400.
They do actually. I have an investor that is thinking of buying right now, and he lost an offer because he thinks he has cash. He can do everything he wants, but he actually compares my listing comparables when I send it to him, and he looks at Zillow. He tells me what Zillow says that home is worth.
Yeah, good. Yeah, they have no idea. They can't be on the ground like you are. They don't know Hunters Creek like you guys do. They don't know Kissimmee like you guys do. They don't know Oviedo like you guys do. They don't know downtown like Daryl does, right? They don't know Williamsburg like Daryl does. They don't know all of these places. They don't know the West Side and Winter Garden and Ocoee and everything like Adul does, right? They don't know these things. And they can't compete with you guys. They're an algorithm. You're still boots on the ground, and they're an algorithm, right? So, I mean, they have local people trying to help them, but that's not where these decisions are coming from, obviously. So anyway, guys, just be professionals. They're not a threat to you if you are giving excellent service, because they can't do that, right? They're a threat to you because they can buy up every property and list it all, but that's moving. Guys, if they're out there buying, this is a good thing. They're out buying things and then putting them back on the market, right? What do you guys thrive on? Do you guys thrive on property values going up? A little bit, right? What do you care if property values go up, but nobody wants to sell their house? Nobody will sell a house. You guys will starve, right? You guys need transactions. If values are going up, that's great. That's a little bit more money for you guys per deal. I mean, a little bit more, right? But it's the transactions that you guys need. And these guys are out there forcing transactions. They're buying and selling, There's another person on the side of every one of these deals, right? Or almost every one of these deals, unless they're buying direct. That's where they're going to hurt us. But even when they buy direct from somebody that didn't know they wanted to sell their house, Zillow's going to put it on the market, and there's going to be somebody to help buy them, and then somebody's going to help sell that house so they're creating business, guys. And you know, just because they're getting people to sell who weren't going to list their property anyway, and that's a good thing. That's starting a transaction. They're not buying and holding and renting it out. They're buying and selling. So that's an opportunity for you guys.
What about this Mark Spain that's getting so big? That's getting crazy big. They're advertising on all the news channels, all the radio channels. Just
I've seen the billboards. Yeah, I've seen the
I was going to
billboards.
ask about that.
Spending a ton of money. Go ahead.
Who is that you said?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark Spain.
Mark Spain, but I don't know who is he working for?
I don't know. I haven't really checked him out. I haven't Googled him at all, but he's coming up on the little things up on the news,
Mark Spain.
Channel 6 or whatever, during the weather, radio ads, TV commercials, like freaking all the time. He's just spending tons of money, just like who was it Open Door that had so many ads, or what was the one before Open Door?
Homelight.
Sorry.
Homelight.
No, there was one.
OfferPad.
Yeah. OfferPad. They had morning ads freaking every morning, and all during the day, commercials. It's crazy. I don't see where this Mark Spain's getting so much money to put on commercials so much.
Mark,
Convenience.
Ryan, can't this thing about Zillow, what they're doing first, they raise the price and drop. Can it not be tweeted out so people become more aware of it?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever you want. Let everybody know. I don't know that that's a pattern for them. I have no idea. If you guys, Malvis only noticed it because it was next door to one of her listings. So if you guys notice a pattern there, I mean, I wouldn't just go out and start tweeting it from my Twitter if I didn't, you know, because it happened one time. I don't know that that's a pattern. But if it is, then do that. But I don't know what, I mean, that's not, there are people posting on Facebook. What really needs to, if you're gonna, one thing I took out of that is that these people sold their house for 270 and they could have gotten 295. Right? So a month later, whatever Malva says, they went under contract for 295. And you know, values are going up, they're not going up that fast. That's 10%.
But you know what they're selling?
Idul, I don't know if it's you or me that has a bad connection, but you're breaking up.
But you know, Ryan, with those marks being off a pad, it's me. It's me.
Okay, it's you.
It's
All
me.
right.
It's on my cell. They're actually working on it right now. My internet. Can you hear me?
On and off. I can't understand you. I
Yeah,
just
I
heard
think it's mine.
the best part was, can you hear me? That was the only part I really caught. So isn't that great? Isn't that how it always works? Like, yeah, I can hear you. And then they start going again.
Yeah,
and
it's me. It's me.
It's definitely you.
I don't know the cell. I don't know what's going on.
It's not me, it's you. All right. That's great. All right. Any other questions or comments from
Yeah,
anybody?
it's really bad. It's really bad.
No more, Idul. I'm gonna mute you.
Brian, I have a request for whenever you, with your connections, and one of these open forums, can you bring an appraiser one day?
Yeah, apologize.
It is more
I'm
about,
on my cellular, but they said something about there's a tower. It's a tower down here, and I'm on my cellular.
Did we lose Idul? Yes. I hope there he's back.
He's at least he's muted.
I've been trying to mute him for several minutes. All right. Malvis, I'm sorry. Carry on. I lost the rest. I was so busy trying to mute him, and I tried to kick him out of the group, but it wanted to permanently remove him from Zoom, and I couldn't do that. So
it's okay. I was just asking you if it was okay with you and with your connections, if one of these days you can bring an appraiser to talk to us in these open forums to get more education on, you know, the appraisal process in today's market. What is it, you know, and we have chances to ask them specific questions.
Okay.
Did you see the ad that we just, or the article we just got, that UWM is having their own appraisal branch? Or I didn't totally focus in on the article, but UWM, the underwriter, the wholesaler, is creating their own appraisal branch or something. Did anybody see that in the Florida news?
No, but I've always wondered why that didn't happen, and I figured it was some kind of regulation or something that they couldn't.
Too.
But I wouldn't know why they couldn't. They're the underwriters.
Right.
I would think that that would be the best person to do it. Plus, they could control them. And,
Right. And timing and all of that, it said, so that the weight and things like that.
Yeah, and they could hire and fire as demand. I always wondered why they didn't do that. Plus, I'm sure there's tons of money in it and controlling it and everything else. Because the only person, I mean, we want it to be a third party. The bank wants it to be a third. We don't want it to be. We want to do it ourselves and say this is what it's worth. Right. But the bank wants it to be a third, a third party, an arm's length, deal. But the underwriter, they don't. I mean, it's their money, right? They're the ones underwriting it. It's perfectly fine for them to do it. I mean, that is even if they're guiding the person, they get to decide whether or not to loan the money. And if they get too hard on it, then they'll never loan any money. And if they get too loose, then they'll open themselves up to exposure. So I've always wondered why they didn't do that and why we have appraisal businesses when they're really just working for lenders, and lenders could hire their own people and not complain about. Maybe it's because they like to complain that they couldn't get that darn appraiser out there, and they'll lose that excuse when it's their appraisal company. So just something to think about. But now your Johnny loan officer can still blame it on they'll just say the underwriter couldn't get their appraiser out there, so they're too busy. right? So they're not really losing that excuse. So I've always wondered why they didn't do that, not necessarily either on the mortgage side for the big mortgage companies or on the underwriter side. And I would see why, no, it makes more sense on the underwriter side because the big mortgage companies would just fluff them because they just want the underwriter to approve them. So that makes a lot of sense. And I'd love to see that. Malvis, we have had appraisers before speak to our group, and we will have them come in again. The best way for me to do that is get a lender to have a common appraiser of theirs come and speak to you guys, and we'll do that again. I will put that on there as with all of your suggestions. It will go right to the top of my list. So
thank you.
of course, Malvis, of course. But we'll take care of that. I know that's very helpful for you guys. I believe we had an appraisal meeting not too long ago, but I will get it back on there.
There's something that Vivian shared in the Facebook
Can you hear?
group, and I already registered for it. I was just wondering.
Okay,
For
good. Well,
appraisal stuff.
you can never have too much information about that kind of stuff. So that's great. And I will get, I'll get working on getting an appraiser in here. All right, and we'll do it at 10:30. So you guys can, even if I put special time, you guys can figure out it's at 10:30. All right, so
I just
any
see
other
your
questions
email
or
come
comments?
through and I just go, okay, tomorrow I haven't really pay attention. I need to pay
Right.
attention.
Hey, Ryan,
will.
can you hear me? Can you
I
hear me,
can,
Ryan?
Eagle. I
Hey,
can
can
hear
you
the
hear me?
part when you say, can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Hey, quick question. I have an addendum. The buyer asked for, to fix a window on an addendum. One, fix a window. Then the sellers decide to give them credit. So we do an addendum 2 that says, $400 credit, seller, closing costs, right?
That's gonna be a
addendum.
problem because the lender's
The
gonna
seller
want number
wants-
one.
Right,
Go ahead.
well, it's a repair. So I told him, I said, well, we can't have 2 addendums because the one addendum is saying you're giving them credit. The next addendum says you're fixing the problem. So I said, well, why don't you cross off everything, the repairs, and just leave it as credit the buyer, $400, and just leave it as that, because you're crediting the buyer, they won't question anything. And when they see repairs, then they want to know why you repairs and blah, 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 blah. So it's more question as compared to just easy. But they want 2 addendums. I said, no, we can't do 2 addendums because the buyers can say, well, hey, you say you're going to fix it, and now you're saying you're giving me a credit. So they're going to have both because it's an addendum. Is that correct?
Yeah, your instincts are correct.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Sorry about it.
Awesome.
Internet.
Yep. Keep it on one addendum and just give the credit and don't mention the window.
Right, okay. Thanks.
You bet. Any other questions or comments?
Sometimes what I do on a repair addendum that you don't want the lender to see is I'll number that like an A. And then when you actually do an addendum, you put 1. So then, nobody knows that there was an A addendum to even ask for it. So.
Okay. This has been Fraud with Tammy Pipkin. Tune in
Oh,
next
it is?
week. I'm just kidding.
Is that
I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions?
I've got a suggestion for a topic. I sent it over, actually, I just found it on Facebook, September 6th. I think we should have a topic on getting Google screened. I see Tammy is Google screened, and I see 2 or 3 others, and I'm nowhere to be found. I can't find myself, and I'm
Okay.
totally screened. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And if I'm
you
doing it
have a-
wrong,
Do you have a
Go
Google
ahead.
business page?
I do.
Okay, I'm totally, don't even know what I'm doing, but somehow,
You
and I have people.
figured it out, and
Well,
I
people-
couldn't.
and I've got calls and I've already closed the deal for my Google screen.
Awesome.
That's-
Yeah.
So we all need to do that.
I agree, Daryl, and you're on the list. I did get your email.
I know what I'm doing that maybe you're not doing. I'm paying. Are you paying? I'm paying money.
For a Google ad?
No, I'm paying, it's called Google Local Services.
Okay, yeah, I
And-
think I am.
And then you go in and you pay so much per week You can put a
Mhm.
limit on it. But what happened to me is that I was getting a lot of rental calls and I was paying $65 a lead, but you can dispute them. So I disputed a bunch, but when I called to say, hey, when are these going to get credited? They're like, well, that department is in India and India has a pandemic. So I don't know. So I'm like, well, I can't keep doing this and have thousands of dollars sitting there at Google. They're like, well, they will credit you. So I did end up it ended up coming through. I got like a $350 credit. But I haven't had a lot of Google. Well, I just got a Google lead, but I'm not sure if it was from that, but because a lot of times when the Google leads come through, the phone number, when you answer, it says, you've got a call from Google. And then the other day I got a call from a guy and he's like, we found you on Google. And so, and I kind of backed off my spending and then I was going to put my spending up. But what I ended up doing is I ended up switching over to HomeSnap Pro. But I was still showing up fairly high in the Google when I switched over. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, you're still there. You were there like 2 or 3 days ago when I checked.
Okay.
You and two or three others, and I'm like, okay, how are they figuring this out? And I can't.
I didn't figure it out.
And I'm glad you said something about rentals because my new zip code 32821. We have tons of short-term rentals around here, which I don't want anything to do.
So what you
Thinking-
have to do is when you answer that call, you have to say immediately, and I hate doing this because I feel rude and I'm a helping person. You have to say, I'm sorry, I don't deal in rentals. And sometimes I'll call them back and I don't know if they catch that, just to say, I'm so sorry, I couldn't really talk. But then they listen to that recording, then you dispute it. And then they listen to the recording and then they'll credit it back to you. But I don't know how soon that actually happens, you know?
Sure.
So.
And then something else besides Google Screen, we also need to get on Google Reviews. Google Reviews are very, very important. And all of us, everybody on the screen right now, we should all be doing a Google review on each other. It takes like 5 minutes. We give each other, you don't want to do them all at once because it looks kind of weird. But
well, number one,
Google
the guy told me the other day, if you do too many reviews in one week, it counts against you. It needs to be like a slow, consistent review process. Yeah.
Yep. But each one of us need to review each other and give each other a 5-star review like every week or every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or do like 3 or 4 each week.
Thank you. This is Ida. Thank you, Dara, for that tip because I thought it was only reviews from the customer clients that you had. And I have another question. Maybe this is for Tommy. That since you have used the Google ad, I got the idea from one of the presenters on our weekly call. I had that, but I never received a notification like on my phone. It will come on my email, and I was disputing the charges with them. I said, you know what? I keep missing these leads because it's coming through my email, and sometimes I keep forgetting it. So how do you get it to come to your phone instead of the phone?
Well, I think what happens is you get the lead from Google. When you answer it, it comes up on my phone that I can dispute it or whatever at that point, but I just sit down at my computer and go into the thing and just do it from my computer.
No, I get, let me clarify. I never received like for instance, as a call, I never received like a call. It came as an email notification.
You know why I think you're getting an email because I think the actual lead is emailing you. And that's happened to me once. And that's because the guy emailed me and he didn't call me. So the people that actually call, they'll come through to you as a phone call. But if they actually email you like, hey, blah, 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 which did happen to me, it does come through as an email because they're not calling you.
Oh, I see. Because they only came just the name and a phone number. That's it. But via email, never. And I got this survey because I thought I was going to be notified with a call, and to hear that notification, Google call, whatever.
But you can, I mean,
So I put it on pause.
they're very good about answering their phone, which I'm quite surprised when you go into the Google Ads and you go to the customer service number, you can call them and ask them that question. Like,
Yeah, I did. And they said, well, you know, it's like they could not figure it out or could not answer. So I just put that on pause.
Huh.
You know what? I can't deal with that now. But I was
Yeah,
wondering, that's why I got the service, because I was gonna get that be notified via a call, you know?
yeah, normally it's a call.
But no, that's no, you know, they sent me the lead via email only.
Huh.
I call, they never explained it like that. That was the person that initiated the contact via email instead of calling me. So I thought it was Google that if Tommy went online and see my information, Tommy, they will put connect Tommy with me via a call, not via email. You know, that's what I thought it was.
No, because I think they're actually physically calling you, the buyer, from
Okay.
the number they see, but Google has given you a number. I think when it comes up, like if you bring me up, there's a number there, but that's really not my cell number. That's the number that the Google ad thing gave me. So then it goes through, it's probably a Google number. So it goes through Google and they know that.
Yeah.
But the email that I got, the guy actually typed a little note in there. So,
okay.
but maybe that's what they're, I don't know.
Well, I put it on pause because once I got, you know, I will miss, you know, those leads, and then it was people with credit issues, never a good one. And I know this is part of the, I guess, buying leads or trying to get something. Not everything's gonna be good, perfect.
Right.
But anyway, I put it on pause until I figure something else. But thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Ryan, excuse me. Next week, we can talk a little bit more about this topic that Daryl brought up, because I am curious, and I don't know if any other agent in this call is doing the reviews through Rate My Agent. And I wanted to, I was going to ask about that because most of my clients have given me reviews through Zillow. And I don't know if there's a way to sync my Zillow reviews to Rate My Agent or Google. So maybe that's a topic for next week. I will be interested to know if somebody else have done that and how they've done it.
I think Rate My Agent, because I listened to I've done Rate My Agent too. I think you can take that review and I think and copy and paste it to that sale. And there is a way to do it. And you could there's probably a webinar thing on Rate My Agent that you could listen to, but I think there's a way to do that.
I think they have a fee to where once somebody puts the review on Rate My Agent, it goes to all your social. I think it's a fee to do that, and I can't remember.
Okay.
Because they have like Rate My Agent top value or something, and then it's like $35 a month to go out to all your social, blah, blah, blah. I think I remember doing that.
Okay.
Hey, Malvis, this is Ida. A tip that was given to me: create a document where you're gonna provide all the links for your customers, and the day before closing, you email that to them. So they just had to do it once and then copy and paste to all your areas, so you know that you want.
That's a great idea.
And put a Dairy Queen $5 gift card in there.
Yeah,
yeah.
You don't have to pay.
Yeah, because I didn't want the clients to go on 3 different websites to give me 3 different reviews in 3 different places. I thought that would be inconvenient. You know, people may not lead toward that.
Yeah,
Right, but what
provide
she's
all your
saying,
links. Okay,
go
go ahead.
copy and paste to one review and all of those links. So go into each link, copy and paste it.
Copy and paste magic.
You mean myself or the client?
For the client, you provide your links of where you want them to go to review you. So once they type it once, have them copy and paste and drop it, you know, on the links for the different sites.
Okay. Thank you, Ida. Can you put your number in the chat so I can David, and call you later if you don't mind.
Not a problem.
Any other questions or comments today? All right, there's Ida's phone number.
Yeah, by the way, I go by Ida. You say it right, Ryan.
See.
Sorry.
Okay, guys. Well, if there's nothing else, we were going to carry on here. We'll discuss these things next week. Daryl, if you want to send me stuff, if you guys want to send me stuff a little more specific that you want to talk about, I'll see what I can do about that. And I'll work on lining up an appraiser. I do not have a guest for next week. Normally I have these guests lined up a couple of weeks ahead of time. So I can't just go to a topic unless sometimes I just make it up right before the meeting. So you never know. We'll do that, discuss that for next week. That's a really good topic. Sounds like you guys are very interested in that. And you guys do need to help each other out with these reviews and stuff. And, you know, even as a professional agent who likes to work with other professional agents, it's good for people to know that you're respected amongst your peers when they see these things, that, you know, everybody's happy that, oh, I just got my new house and I'm so happy, and Kevin did such a good job. Well, it's also good for Lisa to write that Kevin is very professional to work with, and he was a great negotiator, and he dealt honestly and fairly with us, and we really appreciate it, you know. So it's important to know that as well. All right, guys, awesome. We'll see you next week. If anybody wants to comment to me exactly what they'd like to talk about, I will do my best to have somebody who knows what they're talking about work with you on it. Part of that will be Abby, and we'll get those things together for you guys. All right, have a great week. We'll see you next time, and pay attention to the start time, but it should be 10:30 next week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.